What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. It's still Thursday for me, really late, but we have to record this video because I just wanted to give you guys an update on the civilian whistleblower, the civilian UFO witness, who I named jokingly the civilian Axelrod, but his name is Michael. And Michael decided to go a little more public recently. My most recent video about him was him calling out Tim Phillips. Tim is at the moment not interested in engaging with Michael in any way, but Michael is doubling down and he's been like constantly on, for example, UFO Twitter spaces. He already has a handle and everything. I'm going to show you right now. He calls himself Whistling Mike, the Michael. If you guys know, I'm good friends with Missileman, who is a prominent member of UFO X, and he's also a scientist. He has a clearance. He specializes in topological physics, I believe. So he's one of the people who has challenged Michael the most since Michael became more public on X. And they've gone back and forth with different types of debates. On one side, Missile Man believes that it's weird that Michael is kind of sort of against the whole disclosure movement. And I also have this concern from him. And I asked him directly because he recently posted something that I think was very interesting, which is this. He said, disclosure is dead. Disclosure movement leaders were too busy talking and making money to be aware of what's in the NDAA. This will prevent all whistleblowers and citizens from talking. The Pentagon has shut down video leaks as well. After party hosted by SSCI and UAP Caucus and Arrow. And this is a part of the NDAA that was just approved today from the Senate. Matt Laszlo reported it on Askapol as well. And it says to support increased reporting on unidentified anomalous phenomena events by ensuring individuals, members of the armed forces, and other federal employees have adequate understanding of the constraints they would be under when reporting or discussing such event. Constraints. That's interesting. And Michael just did a long post that I'm going to read to you guys, just so you know what he meant when he said disclosure is dead. And I do not agree with a lot of what he is talking about because even though we've all had it very clear in our heads that disclosure from the government was really, really difficult, if not impossible, we still have to try because we need some sort of an official acknowledgement from any government entity about this. And I think that that's the reason it needs to be supported, any type of disclosure from the government. The majority of people, you guys need to remember, are not aware of what's going on. And if they see a government entity talking about this seriously and officially and to the masses, like, for example, something from the president or something like that, that's when everybody will turn their head and go, wait, this is real? That's why we support some type of disclosure from the government. That's the reason I support it. I want for my family members to be aware of what's going on. And I want for my more skeptical family members to understand that this is serious. And right now, there isn't that acknowledgement. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why I am trying to put the word out alongside other many different podcasts and creators that are doing the same. But having said that, let me read to you what Michael is saying here, because I think we should at least try to understand where he's coming from. So Michael says, why I said disclosure is dead. On an episode of the Sean Ryan show, a guest, AJ Gentile, who is host of the Y Files, made a statement about why he doesn't believe UAP whistleblowers. In short, his statement was that if you were former IC or if you have to have all your information cleared by DOPSR before speaking, you're not whistleblowing. You're doing PR for the United States government. He brings up some good points.
But something's going on. I've seen videos. Most, I don't believe the whistleblowers. I don't believe anyone from Air Force intelligence. I don't believe any of that. And if you have a book out, I don't believe what you're saying. If you're cleared by the DoD,
I definitely don't.
I definitely don't. If you still have clearance and you're still a contractor and you're still working with DoD, I can't. You're not a whistleblower. You're doing PR. So, with all due respect, I don't believe you guys. Matthew Brown, I think his last name is Brown. He's kind of a compelling whistleblower because he doesn't go over the top. He just says, "I found evidence of something going on in space," and that's really all he says.
Just from watching the UAP hearings, we know that all the answers containing the information we want are answered by the witnesses as can't answer only in the skiff. Oddly enough, many times that can never happen because the parties can't get approval to meet in a skiff together. Or if they do, one party doesn't have the right clearance, or it requires a read in approval. That never happens. So then the question is, can disclosure come from whistleblowers who can't tell their secrets to us or to elected members? Recently, on an X Space with Desmo and others, which I'm going to link in the description, I spoke about two different issues. One was that SSCI was always nagging me to get a TS clearance. They would tell me how quick and easy it would be, and I'm sure SSCI could have pushed it right through. I never did to protect myself from being forced into legally having to stay quiet. The second thing I spoke of was being told I had whistleblower protection, and toward the end of 2 years, being told I did not. This, of course, was due to the fact that although I had been in the SSCI skiff multiple times over 2 years, and my folder of material I provided was classified as TSSCI, I was not eligible to be covered under any of the whistleblower protection laws as a non military, non clearance, plain clothed U.S. civilian. I have complained to many of our elected members about not having any past or current legislation written to protect me. And this is what has allowed Tim Phillips to say what he has about me, but not about others. I'm for game, the others are not. Oddly enough, SSCI and Arrow are behind schedule in opening up their UAP reporting page to the general public, all with no protection for those US citizens who go to DC to sit in the skiff and show their evidence. How will this go? Based on some testy back and forth I've had with other ex users, it would appear that many laws and regulations were broken by allowing me with no clearance into one of the most secure skiffs in DC to brief sitting senators over the information I provided to them in a folder marked TSSCI. And now it all makes sense. What's about to happen? On my post about disclosure being dead is a photo of a section of the 2026 NDAA. It states that to help with UAP disclosure, they are going to make everyone, including plainclothes US citizens, aware of the constraints, quote unquote, when reporting or discussing their UAP encounter or information. By help, they mean they're going to do things legally to make sure it all goes smoothly for them, not the trouble they're having with me. All people headed to the SSCI skiff and Arrow skiff will be required to get a TS clearance. While it appears that is needed by law, it now removes your freedom to speak freely. Hence the phrase, make individuals aware of the constraints of reporting your UAP encounter. To be clear, that means they will explain to you that now that you have TS clearance, you can no longer tell your story like you did before, unless, of course, it is approved by them. And that is why the term protections did not appear with the term constraints as it normally does. You are now a TS clearance holder, and that's how you will get your whistleblower protection. And that brings us back to the start of this statement. Do you believe that those people who have to have all information approved by the USG and DoD, IC, and others will be able to tell you the information we need for disclosure? As for me, hell no. And that's why I said disclosure is dead. And I gotta say, man, I understand where Missileman is coming from because he's been at it with Michael on this constantly. I understand that as somebody who has a clearance, he understands all the rules, and Missileman more than likely follows everything by the book. But I do ask, say they did make an exception for Michael and they allowed, as it seems, because there's people who have confirmed that he was part of briefings at least, say they did make an exception for him to go into a skiff. Could it be that rules were not followed to a T? Maybe that's why he got in. Could it be that this is a unique situation and that's why he got in? And that's also one of the reasons why they're like enforcing these rules in order to make it more difficult for people like him to come forward with what they have. I wonder. I don't know what you guys think. I already told everyone who has been asking me about Michael that there's still a bunch of things that seem strange to me. That he has a business and that a lot of the video that he already recorded cannot be shown because it's in that folder that he claims to be SSCI. There's a lot of questions that I still have about the business, the nature of his business, the nature of his technology, what it exactly does. A lot of questions. And he doesn't seem at all to be supportive of disclosure, but he does seem to have information that can indirectly affect the movement. And I think that's why people like Eric Burleson and others have already confirmed that this guy is who he says he is, because presumably he has been exposed to information. And I just hope that this whole arms race stuff and defense industry angle is not the one moving him, for example. I hope that he gets to understand that if he has video of one of these things up close, and if he can record one of these things up close, a fresh video, and him showing that to the public can make a difference to understand about this technology, whether it's from somewhere else or made by humans, it still seems to be technology that is being hidden from the people. And I hope that Michael understands how serious that is and how important it is for people like him to share what they have if they do have something. Let me know what you think about Michael's recent activity on X and other platforms. I would like to hear your opinion on what he's been doing. I'm going to leave a link in the description for his X handle so you can see his activity. And I'm going to leave a link in the description for that X space where he spoke at length about what he's about. He's going to do a Reddit AMA on the 15th as well. I'm going to leave a link in the description for that too. But let me know what you think. I am a little bit puzzled still by this Michael guy. I hope that if he comes on the show on Psicoactivo, my hope is that he is willing to show his face and to say his name and to speak more clearly about the type of video that he can produce, the type of video that he had. If he has videos to share that he can share, I hope that he can share them. I don't care if it's not in this channel. I care that he shares them with the public on his X account is more than fine by me. But I think it's important, and I hope that he listens to this. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be reading. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most, so thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated, so thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Michael, always. Oh, and by the way, sorry for the camera resolution. I know that there's a lot of noise. I'm going to be fixing that soon. I already have cameras and everything, but I got to take a little time to study up and remember some of the things that I've already forgotten. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.